In this video, we're going to see how we can start our project in AutoCAD using external references. We're going to see how we can start from a CAD drawing, which is the best option, or from images, which are not vector graphics, but they are composed by pixels, so they're called raster images. So there is a difference in the digital media world between vector graphics and raster images, which is the possibility to use vectors. So in that case, when we scale a vector graphic, we can scale it, we can increase the size, we can decrease the size. Is always gonna be the best quality, we'll never lose quality. Instead, when we use the images, we have really small images, we're gonna see a lot of pixels, and so they do have quality. So if you scale it a lot, you're gonna start to see some pixels. So if I zoom here, you can definitely see pixels. Now AutoCAD is trying to limit the effect of those pixels, but if we continue to zoom, there you go, we will not have infinite quality. There is a limit. Now if I zoom here in vector graphics, I can zoom forever. I will never see the loss of quality of that line. So this is the basic difference between vector graphics and raster images. Now we can use both when we need to start a new project. Now of course the CAD drawing or any vector graphics in general will be more accurate than any image that we'll import, but we can also have more or less accurate images. Now this one here is probably the worst case scenario because we don't have any dimension here, we don't know any thickness of walls or anything, so we need to guess, we need to figure out how to get the closest to the actual measures in reality here. So this will be the worst case scenario. This one here is kind of something in between because we have dimensions, we know like the length of this room at the width, so we can scale it more appropriately. And we will also see how we can use the snaps or the grid snap or the object snap to work more precisely. And even if you don't have any reference at all, we can start to create our project right here from scratch without any reference. So we will see how we can set up our grid and work with modular design. Let's start with a new project. So I'm not gonna open previous lessons, I'm gonna create a new one and I'm gonna call this lesson 6. And let's get started. So this is my folder here, call it lesson 6. And we're gonna start to bring in some references or images. Now in this case, the tab here at the top or the ribbon is gonna be the insert. So is the second one. Now in the previous lesson, we saw how we can draw a lot of different customized or preset shapes. We saw how we can modify them and set up for them and change them according to our needs. So we're gonna go now in the insert tab. And here you can insert blocks, you can insert references, and also you can import from different files like PDF or others. So if you click here, you will see all the available formats. Now you have two ways basically you can insert references or any other thing inside AutoCAD. Well, that is by going into the insert tab or by clicking and dragging and dropping inside the workspace. So we will first start with this one here, which is going to insert, and as you can see, attach. Now why does it say attach? Because we are actually adding something, and especially when we use images, these are not actually going to be there, but they are going to be like connected and linked. So the image is going to stay outside, it's only going to be displayed inside the drawing. So let me first start with a CAD drawing at the XF or DWG. These are the two different files. We talked about this previously. So I'm gonna go here to all files to select a reference file. And well, you can see here that I have many different vector graphics coming from Cinema 4D or coming from Revit or coming from SketchUp and so on. So you can basically export in DWG and DXF format from almost any 3D software or 2D software out there. So if you don't find it, you can always like do a couple of passages and then create that DWG and DXF format, which is really important. So I'm gonna use this one here, Revit to SketchUp, which is an export from Revit to SketchUp, but we can export it, we can import it also here in AutoCAD. Okay, now it's giving me issue with the DWG, so I'm gonna try with the DXF, so I'm gonna try with the DWG. There you go. Now it's gonna ask me a few things. So if I know the scale, or if I want to specify that on screen. Now usually Revit works the same as AutoCAD, so it works in millimeters, so we don't need to set anything here, and we can definitely define an insertion point, and well, we don't need also the rotation. We want 0 rotation, and that's it. So I'm gonna just go right here and just specify the insertion point, and there you go. This is my 2D drawing from Revit. Now I can select that and I can move it. So select it and move it. Let's place it somewhere around here. And if I select it again, you can see it looks like a block or a group, something that's just one element. Now, the first advantage that we have using any vector graphics like CAD files or other is that we can use the snaps, for example. So everything is going to be looking like a CAD drawing, so I can snap on the objects, I can retrace them, and so on. But also I can click here and edit the reference in place. And well, let's just say OK. And now you can see that I can get inside there, I can modify everything, just like this one here has been drawn by me right now. Now I can also go here and activate quick properties to check these elements. You can see that this is a block. So sometimes they are like blocks, sometimes they are actual edges. So I can change it using another type of edge. There you go. So it can be like fully editable, fully customizable. Now another way we can do this again is by dragging and dropping. Now you can click and drag directly into the project, or you can drop it here inside the project itself, or inside the software. Okay, and you can always Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V from any file. I don't know why that's not directly editable, but there you go. So we are back here in the same situation, so I can click and drag. So you either drag and drop it directly, you can open it up, copy and paste, you can go to the insert tab and do the attachment. You can do this many ways. So again, gonna use the attach, and this time I'm gonna look for some images. So in my case, I already know where to find it, so I'm going to go here in the folder. Now remember that this folder needs to be always together with your project, otherwise the link will be disconnected. So I'm gonna show you here. This one here is the image with all the dimensions. Let me place it somewhere around here. Now I don't really know the scale factor here, so I'm gonna just press 1, and that's gonna be pretty small, so I need